Hello, people of YouTube and the internet. This is Jackson from God, Guns, and Guitars with a very interesting video for you guys today. This one's going to be a disassembly video. This one's going to be on a Glock. Now, when I say disassembly video, I am talking basic field strip. I am not in this video, at least this video anyway, going to take out the striker assembly, trigger housing assembly, arm bars, trigger springs, sear springs, none of that, roll pins. That is not going to be happening in this video. This is just going to be a basic disassembly video for maybe newer shooters, somebody just getting into guns. What would I have to do? What's the least amount of work I have to do to just get down to the nitty-gritty, just maybe to clean it or understand how my gun works, and just basic understanding of functionality of my weapon. So with that being said, without further ado, we're going to get started. First thing we're going to do, we are going to safety check the weapon. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take the magazine out. Yes, it is loaded. I do keep my guns loaded. This one, even though this one's more of a range toy at the moment, you're going to pull the slide back and you are going to eject your round from the chamber. Okay, now that the gun is safe, we can start our work. Now with Glocks, it's an extremely simple process. There's really not a whole lot to it. I can do it in under 4 seconds with 2 days of you guys practicing out there. I'm sure you could too. The first thing you're going to want to do after you've made sure that there are no rounds in the chamber and the gun cannot fire bullets or anything else for that matter, you're going to pull the trigger, you're going to point it safe direction, click. Okay, now there really isn't a whole lot left. You're already halfway there and went away. You're going to have 2 tabs on this gun. You're going to have one right here. Get that a little bit closer for you guys to see it. You're going to have one right here and the one on the opposite side, which is right here. You can even kind of see through that hole out the other side of the frame. These are perfectly in line with one another as far as being on the frame. They go up and down, they slide to the downward position, this way being downward. You will need these tabs. How I hold this to activate these tabs, because right now if you try to pull down on these tabs, nothing's going to happen. And you're not going to be able, I don't care how strong you are, you could break the polymer, but it's still not going to help you. How I done it and how I've learned how to do it, the easiest way for me is I use my thumb and I use my pointer finger. Now with that being said, focus more on where this part is, where it meets your hand, kind of goes up around this fatty tissue of your hand here. This curve right here, you're going to take your thumb and you're going to place it into that curve like so, kind of L-shaped. Alright, now what you're going to do is you're going to take the rest of your hand, starting with your first finger, your pointer finger, your trigger finger, and you're going to wrap it over top of the slide, like so. And how you want to do this is you want the rear sight to be digging into this part of your pointer finger, your trigger finger. And the idea is that you push down with your thumb and pull up with the rest of your hand. You kind of do this motion. And you can see the slide physically sliding to the rear. Now you don't want to do this as far back as you can go because you'll re-engage your striker and you'll have to dry fire the pistol again and just start the process over. It's not a big deal if you do it, but you will have to start over. Now, when you're sliding this back, you can see there the slide being forced to the rear when I'm doing that. When you pull your slide to the rear, even ever so slightly, I'm not doing it that far, you only need to do this about 1/8 of an inch. You don't need to go crazy. You can then grab, I use my thumb and pointer finger on this hand, you're going to grab this tab here with your thumb, you're going to grab this tab on this side with your pointer finger, and the key is that you're going to pull them downwards when the slide is pulled back. You're going to grab your slide like I showed before, pull it to the rear, grab with your thumb on this side, grab with your pointer finger. Okay? Pull them down. Now you're going to let go with your right hand. Alright? Notice that when I let go, the tabs came back up whenever I totally let go. But if you've done it correctly, the slide will push forward on the frame about 1/4 of the inch, give or take. When you've done this, it is no longer locked in place. You can physically take your slide off of the gun. Other than that, that's pretty much it. You're going to take your guide spring out, guide rod, and your barrel. That's pretty much it. That is as far as you would need to break a Glock down to field strip it, whether you're ever in a pinch, whether you're just basic cleaning. You can run a patch through your barrel, and some oil, of course. Never anything, you're just going to put your solvents down your barrel. You're not going to necessarily put your oils in there unless you're doing long-term storage, of course. Putting it back together is just as easy as taking it apart. You're going to take your barrel, put it back in. You're going to take your guide spring and guide rod, which this one is a dual guide spring and guide rod. There's 2 notches that are in your barrel for this spring. If I kind of tilted this way right now and held it in place, the spring isn't going to want to go in all the way. You're going to have to push down on your spring, and you're going to put it in the lowest notch in that barrel. You can kind of see the gap. It's about 1/8 of an inch between the top notch and the spring, so they are not touching. It is in the lower gap. You will also be able to tell if you've done this correctly if your spring is parallel with your slide itself. If it is up at an angle, it is not correctly in place and it will not go back on your gun straight. Now, you have these cuts that are in the back of your slide. They go the whole length of your slide, all the way down. These cuts are meant to ride on rails on your frame. These rails are right here, and then in the rear. You have 2 of them in the rear, here and here. Okay? You are going to put these tracks, these serrations, on these rails and let it ride all the way back to the rear. Push it directly in. You're going to bring it all the way home. Now, when it's all the way home, you're going to want to cock the weapon, and then she should be good. I always do a function test, of course not with a round in the chamber, but you're going to pull your slide back, pull the trigger. I do it 3 times usually, and that's how you do it. That's the whole process. Doing it quick, I mean, not a whole lot to it. Try not to bump my camera too much here. There you go. That's your whole process. That's all you would need. Easy. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, well, Jack, this is a Glock 19. This is a big Glock. What about my Glock? I have a bigger Glock. I have a smaller Glock. This will work on all Glocks. And some people are going to say, well, I can't get my hands around a small Glock. My hands are medium to small size, but I'm pretty good with a large range of weapons. Excuse me. Range. But smaller Glocks, same deal. Going to take ammunition out of the gun. No ammunition in your gun. Not when you're doing this stuff. Safety check. Nothing in there. Pull your trigger in the safe direction, of course. Repeat the process. Every Glock is exactly the same. You don't have to worry about, oh, this generation, there's a new, even the new Gen 5s that are coming out. They break down exactly the same. But alright guys, there you have it. That is there you have it. Again, it's just a habit of mine. I do safety check my guns that way, and I do function test my guns that way. But that's pretty much it for the video today. Like and subscribe. Put your comments in the box below, of course. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section also. I'll be happy to answer them and any questions that you have. If you have another way of doing it, cool. That's just what I found works easiest for me. I do this kind of stuff all day, so I kind of do this for my job. So with that being said, like and subscribe, comments in this box below. Long live the Republic, long live this country, and in the name of Ronnie James Dio, long live rock and roll. Alright guys, God bless.